it appears that Wargaming is testing out a new mode in Update 13.6, with a new temporary battle type arriving in that update. Now you might be thinking, Sealord, temporary battle types are just temporary battle types. Well, they're a little bit more than that, usually. These temporary battle types that Wargaming will usually pop up during, certain updates, they're testing new modes and new ideas and such, and sometimes they do evolve into just purely temporary battle types like asymmetric battles that was originally designed to test out the new AI, but the community loved it so much, Wargaming occasionally returns it into the game client as a temporary battle type for funsies. But again, a lot of times these temporary battle types are testing new modes and new ideas that Wargaming is toying with, like what we saw with the duck battles a little while ago, bathtub battles, where they were testing out minefields, and now minefields are, well, they're still in testing, but you guys get what I'm saying. They test out new ideas in these temporary battle types. So the new mode being tried out in 13.6 is called Mode Shuffle, which is an idea that I can very much get behind. But what is the idea? Well, it is what it sounds like. It's kind of like Random Battles 2, almost, but so let's get into it. So they say, and this is in what's on the game's website under the 13.6 PT patch notes. I unfortunately missed this round on the public test server. I've had an extremely busy past couple of weeks, so I wasn't able to hop on and try it out, but you'll see where this is going. And I will link it in the description down below. Alright, so they say, our new temporary battle type places you into one of 3 game modes: Airship Escort, Convoy, or Arms Race. The battles are 12v12 with any tier 8 to tier 10 ships and a maximum division size of 3. And, well, I mean, the modes are what they are. They're Airship Escort, Convoys, and Arms Race. The only one that's different from previous iterations is Arms Race. So the way Arms Race is going to work in this mode shuffle is that it's going to work pretty much like normal, except for the spawns for the buffs. The buffs are only going to spawn toward the center of the map. They're not going to spawn on the fringes of the map anymore, thereby, incentivizing close-range gameplay. Of course, Airship Escort, if you don't know what that is, there are 2 non-controllable airships that spawn on the map, and you have to escort them to their end destination. And if you are within a certain area around each airship, the airship will speed up. And if you are within the enemy team's airship range, it will slow down their airship. Convoys is, well, it's what it sounds like. You have NPC transport ships, Liberty ships, that one team must escort to a destination, and they can be sunk via torpedoes, guns, and whatever you want to throw at them from the enemy side. And of course, the idea is the friendly team has to escort these Liberty ships to the end. The enemy team needs to sink these Liberty ships before they get to the end of the map. And of course, you should all know what Arms Race is. That is a current battle in randoms right now. So one thing all 3 of these modes have in common is that they are, by design, close to mid-range modes. Airship Escort is exceedingly close range because you can't control where the airships go. They follow a set path on the map, and by design, there are points where the paths for these 2 airships are almost right on top of each other. And again, the way the mode works, you want to be by your airship escorting it to the end, so it's a lot of fun. You have some very hectic close range combat, and it's a good time. They tossed it in random battles a little while ago, but wasn't well received by the community. I liked it though, but yeah, it was a sad day when it was removed, in my opinion. Again, same with Convoys. The Liberty ships are following a set path on the map, and you have to, again, stick with them to escort them to make sure the enemy team doesn't sink them. So you can see what they're doing here is that they're trying to try out a separate battle type or separate mode for close range combat. Why? Because, like I just mentioned, when they tried introducing one of these modes that, again, was designed to be more close range in nature into random battles, the community did not like that. Why? Well, if you play any number of battles on the current client of World of Warships, in the year of our Lord 2024, you will quickly discover that high tier right now is exceedingly passive for a good chunk of the game. Typically, for the first half of the match, you're sitting back at longer ranges, trying to pick each other off from, again, 15 kilometers plus, well, usually a lot longer than 15 kilometers, 17 kilometers plus for a good portion of the match. There might be some close in action going in with the DDs for the first couple of minutes until one team's DDs entirely just cease to exist. And then the game kind of devolves from there. And, well, just as it is, a lot of times the games will stay long range. Now, every now and then, of course, you will get a game that will evolve into close range combat. But that's usually in the last, maybe quarter of the match, and a lot of times it's maybe 2 minutes, right? So the high tier meta is a very passive one and a very mid to long range one, leaning towards long range. So when you throw a mode into the random battles rotation that is close range by nature and rewards close range gameplay, well, a good chunk of players were complaining that they couldn't take their usual random battleship and still do well in airship escort. You can't take your Slava or your Yami or your sniping cruiser, Henry IV, or whatever, into a close range game mode and do well. Except that, you can. Yami's fine at mid-range. Slava is so biased that it doesn't really matter what range it's at. Hell, in my first Slava game, I was playing from 10 kilometers in and doing quite fine in her. But that was the argument amongst other things. But from what I saw, that was the biggest argument. You can't take the usual random battle ship into random battles because you might get airship escort, and now your ship isn't ideal for the meta. But again, tell that to all the German battleship mains that have been playing GK in an unfriendly meta for the past, 5 years at this point. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's my argument and why I'm kind of upsetty spaghetti that airship escort was removed, because I could take my GK and I could have a chance of getting a mode that it's actually good in, But anyway. So it seems that they were trying to have a separate battle type to where it's like, hey, if you want to play close range, here's the close range mode, right? You got airship escort, you got your convoys, and you got your altered arms race, where, again, it's more keyed and more tuned to be close range. And, I think that's a pretty good thing. That way you could have all the players that want to play close range, you can go play mode shuffle, or whatever they'll call this, if it ever does, get to that point to where they can just toss it into the live client. I think that'll be neat. Now, I don't think it's going to be on a permanent basis. Why? Because I'm not sure if the community, the player base, is large enough to support essentially two random battles, right? Where you have the traditional random battles and then the, close range random battles, or mode shuffle, whatever you will. Because obviously that causes issue with the matchmaker. Matchmaker works best when there's more players to pull from, So splitting the player base up like that, I'm not sure that'll be a great long-term solution. But tossing this up every now and then to where it's like, hey, look, for this cycle, we have mode shuffle in as our temporary battle type. That way, you can hop into your airship escort, convoy, arms, and your modified arms race and all that, and have fun in your close range ships. And then maybe the next patch you'll have asymmetrics or something as the second temporary battle type, or whatever. Now, there is a big issue I see with this, in that even when you have temporary modes that are geared to close range, how often do you still have players sniping in it? How many times, dear viewers, have you been in brawls, yet there's some goober in the back of the map sniping in brawls? The name of the mode is brawls, yet you're back there in your Yodo or whatever, sniping and trying to HE farm in brawls. We saw this when they reintroduced airship escort as a temporary battle type too. We were playing it on stream, and every match, there's some goober sitting back at the A or the J line trying to snipe or trying to HE farm an airship escort when it was in a temporary mode by itself where you had to manually select it. And it's like, what are you doing back there? And the truth of the matter is that players are going to play how they want to play no matter what. If you have played any online game, that's how it's been. How many times are you playing, like Rush, if you're around my age, late 20s, early 30s, on Battlefield 3, on Operation Metro, and you're on the escalators to heaven, right? And yet there's someone sitting in the back by like the third set of objectives, trying to snipe through the metro terminal, right? Like, it's like, what are you doing back there? We've got the hordes of the red team pushing up the escalators trying to get to us, and you're back there sniping. Like, that's not really helping out that much, buddy. Like, players are going to play how they want to play. Again, any competitive, well, not really a competitive game, but any game like Rainbow Six, you have players that they don't want to play the objective. They want to rush the enemy team. They want to turn into random deathmatch, right? Instead of an objective-based game, right? So, on one hand, I like the idea of having a separate, even if it's just on a temporary basis, a temporary mode where you can hop in and, for like a patch cycle, get some nice close quarters action just injected into your veins. I like the idea of that. But it's like, if the player base actually, the players that pick this mode want to play close quarters and they'll actually do it, it'll be great. But if it's still like what we see with, every time we have one of these modes as a temporary battle type, and there's still goobers that pick these modes, but yet go sit in the back of the map, I don't think it's really going to, be that great, right? And, I mean, I certainly appreciate the effort that Wargaming is trying to do something like this. This is, in my opinion, is a very good thing that they're trying this out at least. But I just don't know how well it's going to go. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think it'll, still be great? Because, most of the players that will be manually selecting this mode will want to play close quarters. And you think that one or two goobers may not be that much of a problem, or do you think it's not even worth the effort? Just let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd be real interested to hear you guys' thoughts. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. We are on our way to 60,000 subscribers. We just got past 57,000, which means we are under 3,000 away from our 60,000 goal, and we'll be doing a giveaway when we get there. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. So hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.